sure about that?
All right. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to another episode with your boys here at the Truth Media Podcast. This is your boy, Q Fusion Reacts, and my co host.
Double A Hef, y'all. What's good? Welcome back.
All right, guys. So, welcome once more. If unless you've been living under a rock, I would think, one of the better Super Bowls has had took place this past Sunday in recent memory. And I think it was definitely one for the ages. The Kansas City Chiefs went against the Philadelphia Eagles in a Titans versus Titans type style match. One of the best defenses in the league. In the Philadelphia Eagles went against the one of the better offenses is led by Patrick Mahomes Jr. Uh, and it came down to the wire, and the Chiefs ended up winning 38-35, giving Patrick Mahomes his second title in 4 years. So congrats to the Chiefs. I, for one, definitely was rooting for Pat Mahomes. I definitely had some players on the Eagles that I am a fan of, like AJ Brown.
Oh, what?
Um, yeah, I'm a big fan of AJ Brown. As far as
Why?
from a
I don't
player
like that.
aspect, from a player, I always like AJ Brown. But yeah, I'm a big wide receiver, a big wide receiver fan. But anywho, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, guys, that took place. So what I wanted to do for the beginning of this conversation, was to take a look at what our reaction was to this epic Super Bowl, what we took away from it, and also some of the controversial calls. I mean, if you guys remember, there was the holding call that occurred within the latter part of the fourth quarter, that got everybody up in arms. I definitely wanted to get my co-host's reaction to the Super Bowl because I presume he watched it. So yeah, take it away.
Yeah, I definitely watched it. I'm still stuck on this AJ Brown thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
One of the
no,
best in
the
the league.
okay. Let's take a break on that one, all right, brother. Anyway, right. Anyway, like he's like your he's average, man. He's like that average starting NFL receiver. I don't mean like he's average, but I mean he's nothing to write home about. He's not like a huge difference maker. We saw that in the playoffs alone. Like that. That's why he even got mad and threw a freaking tantrum, despite his team winning in the playoffs on the road to the Super Bowl. This guy's thinking about his fucking self. That really just left a real sour taste in my mouth
Uh huh.
about him. But prior to that, like I said, I had already like, all right, yeah, he was in Tennessee with freaking no throw Tannehill, who's not like a terrible quarterback, but he was able to
Hmm.
have a couple. I'm pretty sure a couple 1,000 yard seasons there. Nothing crazy. Like I mean, like right at the 1,000 mark, which is always a great thing. Whether you're a running back or you're a receiver to get to that 1,000 yard benchmark is great. But again, that's average. You expect that on every team. You expect them to have a receiver that's going to do that. So again, I'm not sold on him, and I didn't see anything through this playoff run to push me over the edge. Now again, this isn't a debate about AJ Brown, but since
Uh huh.
you spoke so glowingly about him, I just had to get that out there. But I
Yeah.
digress. So the
Yes.
Super
Back to the
Bowl,
topic.
to the Super Bowl. Uh, I was off a little bit in total points, but by the
Hmm.
margin of victory and by the team, I was spot on. If you guys recall, I believe it was a week ago, I predicted 31-28 Kansas City Chiefs. I believe the score was 38-35 Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, I told y'all what time it was. At the end of the day, it's a team game. The better team won. Now, now there's a whole bunch of talk going on about these calls and this and that we're about to break down. But let me just jump us right into it. Look, in all sports, and again, I'm biased. My co-host, he's also biased. We have both played sports the majority of our lives. We've been on the receiving side of a generous call. We've been on the wrong side of generous calls, and I've shared that with him like on the same team before. So
Mm-hmm.
again, we get it, but at the end of the day, calls are going to be made, and I always look at it like, well, is the call bogus or not? Some calls are actually bogus.
Right.
And then you get the argument, well, you're not supposed to call that call at this time in the game, and that's a whole different line of thinking that we can get into, right? But in terms of just was it a correct call? I believe it
Mm-hmm.
was.
No, continue on. Oh, was that it?
Oh no, I mean, I thought you were about to pull something up.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna pull up the call in question, just
yeah,
so
yeah,
our viewers who didn't get a chance to see
yeah.
it.
Let's pull that up.
Hold on, I don't know why this is doing the most.
And
Uh,
as he's pulling that up, let me tell you guys this. And I played football majority of my life. I didn't stop until I was 26 years old. And growing up, I cannot recall there being a defensive holding call. That's something that came about like recently.
mm-hmm.
Growing up, that it was either pass interference, and that was it. And then we also had like different stages of pass interference. Like it was like, all right, like, just like with the face mask call, you had a 5 yard face mask, 15 yard face mask, and then they just made everything like an automatic first down. Like the game has changed. Okay, so like these holding calls, although I didn't grow up with them, I think they're good overall for the game because it forces these D backs to actually be great D backs. That's why when you to be a great D back now,
Mm-hmm.
like people always talk about yesteryear, the guys back then and all that stuff. And I'm not knocking, yesteryear. But I tell you right now, to be a D back in the NFL now and be
Woo!
regarded as one of the best, you're on a whole other
Woo!
level. You are studying day in and night out. You're looking at tape. You're doing
Mm-hmm.
one-on-one sessions. You really, kudos to you because it's damn near impossible to shut these receivers down, especially with penalties such as that.
Right. Yeah. So, guys, as I was pulling it up, I mean, just my quick reaction. I mean, I thought the game, as I started off this segment, I thought it was definitely one for the ages. I don't know when I saw the call. I know the people that I was watching it with some family. I mean, they were upset. Obviously so, because they were rooting for the Eagles. Some of them, and I don't know. For me, it was a hold. I thought it was a hold. And then I think a lot of people were kept on looking at the top of the action, where he ended up freeing himself on the scramble. Um, and I just don't, I don't think we can mar it by that. I mean, the rule is when you reach out, you grab jersey or you grab any sort of physical body part of the individual, and
Mhm.
that occurred, and that doesn't fall within the realm of God, it escapes me oh my God,
What?
you know what I'm talking. When you're within the first 5 yards, I almost
Five
said
yard
checking.
bump. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, so it doesn't fall within the realm of within that 5 yard bump, because simply he wasn't even he had already freed himself by way of the route that he ran,
Mhm.
right? So for me, it's like you got to call it as it is, right? And if he would have, the ref in question would have missed that call, I mean, God knows how they would have lambasted him, to that degree. I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
to umpteenth degree.
Oh
All
yeah.
right, so there would have been a ton of Chiefs fans. Like I just think that a lot of times these refs are in a no win situation, And the only thing that you can do, because sure, there were probably missed calls throughout the course of the game. There were probably things that they let slide throughout the course of the game. But when it is something of, I mean, literally, it was those two guys. I think the other receiver that was with Juju cleared out across the other part of the field. So it was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
those two
Juju
individuals.
had that. Yeah, he had it.
He
He
had that
had
whole
it.
left side, right? Correct.
Yeah.
He had that whole left side to work with. So when it's like that, I mean, Lord, it's one thing if there's some action going on, in tandem with that route, but it was just those two individuals on an island. So, so what I want to do is just give
So
a.
hold on, before you even
Sorry, go
get to
ahead.
that, I want to point
Yeah,
this out because there's a lot of people that are saying things like, "Oh well, the ball was overthrown anyway," and all sorts of stuff. Guys, you have to keep this in mind. It does
right,
not matter because we don't know what would have happened had he not did that. Ultimately, once the infraction occurs, the flag comes out.
right,
Period. It's not like okay. It's like you playing basketball, pick up basketball. You get fouled and you wait till the ball is rebounded by the other team, and the dude took a dribble, maybe two with it before you call a foul. It's not how it
right.
works. You
Yeah,
call it when it happens, regardless of whether you make the shot or not. There was an infraction, and that's what happened. All right.
right.
We can't try to turn it into something that it's not. There was a penalty thrown for something very particular. Now, did it occur? Yes or no? In my opinion, and my co-host, it did occur.
And also too, I mean, looking at the when I mean, we'll break down this play. I mean, when you look at the play, there's help over the top. So for those people that are coming with that energy of, oh, well, it was out of field of play, for him to get to. Well, there's a number of different things that could have happened. I mean, if he had gotten the release that he wanted to and gotten the free range to move like he wanted to, maybe he could have made a diving play on it. But at the same token, that it's a bang bang issue, right? So Patrick Mahomes is not going to wait for the ref to throw the flag. What he's going to do is say, okay, well, he's not open. There's
Yeah.
hope over the top, so let me get it out. Because there is that play was essentially ran for Juju,
Yeah.
right, to be able to get some to be able to make something happen in the open field.
In an isolation situation. That was ISO.
Correct. So yeah. So let's take a look at the play in question and let's get into it.
Case scenario, you'll see James Bradbury. They're going to say
Right there.
he grabs him.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that.
He's got his left hand on his
That's
back.
the-
I don't
that's
know.
the- I think that's the second one.
Let him play.
I don't even think that's the
Obviously,
first
Mahomes thought he saw it. I think.
I want to see
think you
they're
let
not showing the
play,
full.
finish this thing out.
I want to see the full
I
route.
love that call, Mike.
I mean, I think you got to see the whole thing. It seemed to me
Yeah.
the initial break, he grabbed the back of the jersey and pulled it. If we see that, I think that is a hold.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Nah, that's not the full route.
Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
Yeah, that's not the full route. Yeah, I want to get the whole sequence down pat. Because again, he was running for my eye, he was running a wiggle route. And on the when he made the plant on the wiggle route, there was an impending holding on that end, right? While it was slight, it was still holding. I mean, and Bradbury admitted as such that it was holding. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to get. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get the full play.
This
These fucking commercials.
make the shortest days the fullest.
Come on, I'll lick the
Current
tip.
eligible Cadillac lessees get this low mileage lease on this 2023 Cadillac XT4 for around $379 per month.
Come on.
On the call.
I mean, I pulled the jersey, they called holding. I was hoping they would let it ride, but it wasn't holding.
Is that something they typically let ride?
I'm not sure. I think based off the playoff games that we were in, playoff games that I saw, sometimes the refs let some things like that go, just depend on the ref.
Was that consistent with the way it was called the previous three-course bus?
I think so. It was. I mean, they were pretty consistent for the most part. I just can't be blatant with it.
But do you feel like you pulled on it enough for it to be called? I mean, there's always pulling, tugging, a little da-da-da-da-da. But in that situation, do you feel like you pulled on it enough for that call at that time?
And that's a tough one.
I mean, that's not up for my judgment.
Yeah,
I was hoping he would let it go, but of course, he's a ref. This is a big game, and it was a hold.
There you go.
Yeah, look, I appreciate, obviously,
Yeah,
his
no.
honesty. because he could have came out and played that whole, something that we talk about on the channel at great length, that victim mentality. Oh man, we got
Correct.
robbed. We're owed this. No, he knows. Look, anyone that's played the game. Look, I was a D-back. All right, my whole life. You know that when you're out there, especially on the big plays, like the eyes are on you. The eyes are on you, and especially when you have the matchup. Now, is Juju typically their number one receiver? No, but in that instance, at that point in the game, he had emerged as such. Okay, that's why they were going to him and not towards Kelsey at that time. So you have to know. Also, I'm looking at the defensive coordinator. Look, at the end of the day, if you give up 38 points to a team, you're not going to win many games. You give up 35 points to a team, you're not going to win many games. I think that they had their guys out of position. Think about it. It's either you're gonna play off, right, and keep it in front of you, because I think it was maybe 3rd and 9 or 8 or something like that, and in the red zone. So you could get a stop. Either way, you're looking at a field goal, right, or a touchdown. It's unlikely that you're just going to get them to not get any of the two. So you have to say to yourself, okay, we're going to settle with the 3. We're not giving up 6. All right. So how do we do that? Well, we back up. We back up and give them the underneath, and then we got our big guys on the inside, stopping any potential draws and keeping Patrick Mahomes in our peripheral, right? Or you say, what we're going to do is we're gonna be aggressive. We're going to come up. We're actually going to bump him. Instead of allowing Juju a free release to even do that move, to put Bradbury in a position to even hold him, no, we're going to be aggressive, and we're gonna bump. We're going to pull the safeties up, and we're probably going to send 1 or 2 at least to force Patrick into being a gunslinger. Maybe he might throw an interception. I don't think you take the middle route, which is what they did, which is, we're not really going to send anybody. We're just going to kind of sit back, not really close and not too deep, and see what happens. I think you put your cornerbacks on an island for stuff like that. Andy Reid is an offensive guru. He's not just going to come out here and start running freaking slants and X's. No, that's not the routes they're going to run. They're going to run some trickery. They're going to run some sleight of hand. So you have to put your guys in position for that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think this was because we have friends that are Eagles fans, and I know it's really easy to blame the refs on missing the call and whatnot. But I mean, this is, if you play sports, that this is the game doesn't come down to the last 2 minutes, right?
Exactly.
Like there's a number of different plays that were missed along the way that opened the floodgates for this situation to happen, right? Because coaches will tell you till kingdom come, right? You do what you're supposed to do throughout the course of the game, so that way you don't let it be determined by the whistle, right? Because like he said, it was consistent throughout the whole game, right? I mean, the man admits it himself. The call, the physicality, the way that they were allowing the guys the movement to run or not to run during the course of the game, he admits that it was consistent across all ends. So when all things are on both sides and consistent, what does that tell you? Like my co-host mentioned, their schematics was just off, right? So, and at the end of the day, I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster, for lack of mention, he was cooking that whole second half.
Oh yeah,
right. Like you would have never thought that this guy was almost out of the league, and we'll get into that the exchange between him and AJ Brown that happened earlier this week. But this guy was on the verge of not even of trying to probably just kind of figuring it out for next year, right? Yeah. He probably found a team during later in the year, but the fact that he was able to come on and then be able to provide this kind of impact for the Chiefs, speaks a lot to his fervor. So I don't know. I think that when people take this easy hanging fruit, to say, oh well, they missed this, so this occurs. I just think that you're forgetting that the game is 60 minutes long and that there's 58 other minutes to account for.
Exactly, and for nothing, there was 35 other points to account for.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like let's get, if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But most people, and that's why I try to avoid gatherings around football games, because I look at it through a totally different lens than the average like totally different lens, and it irks me honestly when people are talking about football, especially women, because I don't know shit about
Oh
football.
yeah.
Saying, but then y'all want to be telling me, oh, this and that. It's like, no. That's why, I try to not come into gatherings. But when you have a Super Bowl, people are going to gather. So, with that being said, to the Eagles fans, because a lot of them are acting very like fanboyish, you got to understand something, guys. There's a challenge that, in my opinion, should have overturned that favored the Eagles. There was the tight. I believe the tight end caught the ball, he caught the ball going to the sideline, and they challenged it. They said that he was in, but there was a different camera angle where he did not get full possession of the ball with 2 feet in bounds. I don't know how the hell they let that ish slide, but that should not have slid. And the NFL, you have to have 2 feet in bounds. That's why every time you go any neighborhood in the USA, you see kids playing catch. They're always doing this, like they're pretending they're on the sideline. Oh, they're getting their 2 feet inside, right? Everyone knows that. This guy did not. You have to have possession of the ball. He bumbled. He was bobbling the ball. Now we don't. I didn't tell you to cue that video. I wish I did, but it just came to my mind. So at the end of the day, what I have to say this: calls go both ways. The calls don't dictate the outcome of the game. It's the, like,
Yo, can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah, my whole shit's frozen. So, yeah, carry it away. I'm gonna try to. I don't know if you're. I'm gonna try to restart.
Okay. So yeah, guys, you have to bring. Well, actually, no. The schematic of that. Oh, now you're unfrozen. I can see you moving now.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I'm not saying that they had a poor game plan, but I have to critique it. I highly doubt that giving up 35 points was part of the goddamn game plan.
Mm-hmm.
So like what? Like, look, the call was the call. That's it. We move on. It wasn't like it was a bogus or phantom call. You can't do that. Bradbury knows it. Most of y'all know it. But you're just in your feels, and that's okay, I suppose.
Oh, all right, cool. And also, just because I was finally able to get, maybe this is, they didn't want me to pull this video up, but I have. Oh, here we go. See, look, that is a hole.
Yeah.
That's a hole. And so people are following on this.
Go back a little further.
Yeah. It's just because this thing is like doing the most right now. I just wanted to get that part of the route.
Okay, yeah. I just want.
Yeah, because I don't think people are understanding that. There was a number of different holds.
Yeah, let's see this.
Look, here's a hold.
Right there. And there.
And then another hold.
Yeah.
He's got his left hand on his back. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mike, listen. I think on this stage,
like, don't get me wrong, it was a veteran move. You know what I mean? And if there was other action on that side of the field, he might have been able to get away with it. But because he was on an island, damn, bro, you're gonna have to just trust in the coverage over the top, right? And also, too, Schuster's not a burner, right?
Exactly.
So you're just gonna have to trust it. And that situation, you cannot give up that penalty, right, or that opportunity for a penalty in the last 2 minutes, knowing full well that you don't have timeouts. I'm sorry, that if they get this first down, you're gonna run out of timeouts. Right. So there's got to be a sense. And I think this is why that, if we're going to finish off this segment, I think this is why Bradbury, was able to have the stoicism to say, hey, it was a hold. Right. Because I think in his head as a player, you're sitting there thinking, damn, man, I should have just, I should just got a better jam. I should have just got a better, I should have just, did my best to keep my hands off, knowing
in his head, he knows at the moment where Juju got him. Like,
as
a competitor,
Absolutely.
The second it happened, he said, "Oh shit, that was an oh shit moment, man." So he knows.
Yeah. So I think it's really, just by his reaction alone, I can already tell he's going to be beating himself up about that, and rightfully so. I mean, it definitely was a shitty play to say the least. But okay. So now that we're talking about the hold, in this week's news, we have a situation where the wide receiver for the Chiefs, Juju Smith-Schuster, came out on Valentine's Day with the post that had people had the the I guess you could call it the NFL sphere talking. All right, so let's share the conversation that took place. All right, let me see if I can make this a little bigger. All right. So if you guys are able to see, this is James Bradbury, who was on one of the videos we just played. This was the cornerback that was guarding Schuster in that pivotal moment during the Super Bowl. And Juju Smith-Schuster says to him, "Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I'll hold you when it matters most." And this could not be left in the ether. There had to be a response. I mean, there just had to be. And AJ Brown, the malcontent that my co-host so eloquently broached, mentions, first off, congratulations. Y'all deserve it. This is lame. You was on the way out the league before Mahomes resurrected your career on your 1-year deal. Oh, TikTok boy. He admitted that he grabbed you, but don't act like you're like that or ever was. But congratulations again, streamers, hand claps, and cheers. I think that's a cheers emoji. All right. So the question that we have on the table, was Juju's comments out of bounds?
Look, you can't have humor without having nuggets of truth. That's why the great comedians get away with saying a lot, because they can meld the two together. So, and I'm not sitting here calling Juju Smith a comedian, but the post was funny. Let's keep in context that was centered around Valentine's Day. What's today? The 15th. Valentine's Day was yesterday. I don't remember when that tweet was dated, but so some people might say too soon. But at the end of the day, look, when you there's winners and losers, and what comes with winning is bragging rights. If you don't like that, then don't be a loser.
Ooh.
Damn, son, where'd you...
That's it,
Sheesh. Man. I'm man. Yeah, I don't know. I wrestled with this one. This one was an interesting one. I guess a part of me was kind of, I didn't find it funny. I thought it was kind of whack. Not that because of the situation. I just thought it could have been a better, a better setup. But that's just me being, the comedian that I would love to be. I think he went for it. I don't think he really hit. Now, do I think AJ Brown's response was warranted? No, because no matter what no matter how you feel about him, he still dropped. I think, what did he have, like 96 yards or something like that? And a lot of that came in the second half. So whether he's a TikTok boy or he needed a resurrection from Pat Mahomes, he did what he was supposed to do. He did what he was brought to do, right? To be the second nugget, right? To be the second nugget, because we all knew that Marquez
7 catches, 53 yards.
Okay, and I'm sure the majority of that came in the
second half.
Yeah. So yeah, and those were crucial catches, not just some catches that you could just poo-poo on. Those were catches that were well needed and timely. So he did what he was supposed to do. I mean, because we all knew that Marquez Scantling, while he was having a great run before the Super Bowl, we knew that he was not going to be the guy that got them over the hump. We knew it was going to be Kelsey and then somebody else, right? And they brought Schuster on because he had his big game. No matter what you say about him, he has played in a lot of big games with a number of different big individuals. So I just thought that the response, I think, I don't know if it was warranted. It definitely seemed like a patch of sour grapes, which is why I think he finished off.
AJ Brown had 6 catches, 96 yards.
Oh, so I'm confused.
Yeah, AJ has 6 with 96 and a touchdown. Juju has 7 for 50. I forget what I said.
And 50 of that came in the first half for AJ Brown.
Exactly.
Off that bomb. Yeah, off the bomb.
And Juju basically didn't even play the first half. I mean, he played, but he was getting those stats.
He was a non-factor. Yeah, he was a non-factor. Yeah. So I mean, I like I said, I think that I think it was just a patch of sour grapes. I think that but I do think it's good for the league, I think it's good to be able to see individuals going back and forth like this. Like my co-host said, like at the end of the day, it's like the NBA. I guess you would say the NBA toss-ups that keep happening where people score at the end of the game, right? It's like, oh well, why is he doing that? Why is he why is he laying it up when it's a blowout? Blah blah blah. Well, I have a remedy. You know what I'm saying? Play defense throughout for the first 3 quarters and the beginning of the fucking fourth, and maybe you won't have to worry about being embarrassed by a pseudo layup just so they don't get a shot clock violation.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
So I mean, I think that's that was a really easy one, because it just at the end of the day, that's the best remedy that you can have is win the fucking game.
Yeah, one
Right?
more thing I want to add about the whole AJ Brown thing is that he was like basically saying that Juju was on his way out the league and stuff like that, which is relatively true. But it doesn't help AJ's case because AJ, if you didn't have Devontae Smith, who the hell would you be in Philly? Would you guys have even made it this far? So like you need pieces around you, like you know what I'm saying, that like for you to be that guy, and you're still not that guy in my opinion. Juju Smith-Schuster was not brought there to really be the guy. He was like, all right, we need a guy. Let's start there, because that's why they traded for Kadarius Toney. You know what I'm saying? Like they're trying to plug and play. The Chiefs are trying to figure it all out. So again, basically, it hurts you, and it should be a slap in the face to your defense. So when you're not that emotional and you get to think about what you're about to say and the actions you're about to take, then you find yourself doing less. Oftentimes, I say to people, I say, "Yo, you're doing way too much," and it's not just a saying; it's literal and figuratively. You're doing way too much, because if you think about it, you'll see you don't have to do any of this. AJ Brown, my dude. What you just said puts your defense on their chopping block. Because if he's almost out the league, but he had all these big catches in the second half and you guys lost to him, if they would have had anybody else that's better, that's not almost out the league, what would it have been a close game?
Ooh.
Like come on, man. Stop being emotional. Think, motherfucker. Think.
Oh. Yeah.
What if they had Tyreek Hill? What if they had Tyreek Hill instead of Juju?
Lord. Come on. Oh,
come
Lord.
on.
That route would have been a touchdown. Yeah,
they probably would have had a better defensive scheme.
That too, or that. I mean, I don't even know what they could have done because they couldn't even touch Mahomes, man. Like that vaunted defensive line that they were saying was needed 3 sacks to be on par with fucking the Steelers, the Iron Curtain. Yeah. I'm like, bruh.
Steel curtain.
Sorry, it's my fault. The steel curtain. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Who did y'all? First off, let's be real. You got where you were supposed to get, but let's not forget how you got there, right? You went against the Giants. Sorry, Aaron. Okay. Yeah, you went against the Giants, and then you go against the freaking. I'm maybe missing another team, but then you go against
the 49ers.
You go against the 4th string on the 49ers, and it like a journeyman who's been on what, like, I think it was what they said, 15 teams or something like that.
Something crazy. Sorry, maybe 7, and not for nothing, they didn't throw they didn't have a pass attempt after the second half. Game. Like halfway through the third quarter, they did not throw the ball from then to the end of the game. And I'm looking at the coach like, you're going to lose. At least have someone play actual quarterback and try to throw. You're not going to win the game just running the ball. If that's the case, motherfucker, just come out and punt the ball. That was despicable.
That had me fucking. Oh my god! I know the NFL was calling the 49ers front office like, yo.
How you let this happen? How you let this happen in a conference championship game? You only got one backup quarterback, and it's this guy. And then, like you like shit. Put Christian McCaffrey in, but let him throw the ball. They didn't throw the ball since Johnson went down. They called a play where Christian could throw it, but I don't think he wound up throwing it.
Yeah. They threw a
So
couple of random screens.
yeah, but I mean,
But
you got a
they were
protocol.
moot. Yeah, they were moot. Yeah, no, that was. I mean, we should have did a reaction to that game. That was despicable. I definitely agree. It was. Oh my god, it was reprehensible, man. Like that. How do you get to that point where the offensive guru
Yeah,
that quote the offensive guru that Kyle Shanahan is
yeah,
allows for that situation to even muster? I mean, Brock Purdy, you don't even know his track record as far as getting hurt or getting injured. So to
yeah,
think that you wouldn't even have somebody,
yeah,
like just
yeah.
somebody,
Like you just put
like
all your eggs in that basket. Like
yeah,
you didn't think to be
and then
like
you bring what's his name, Joe Johnson, or what was his name,
Josh
something,
Johnson.
Josh Johnson. You bring Josh Johnson on, you know what I mean, the guy that hasn't that hasn't shown you shit,
Yeah,
right, over the last 15 years, right? He's a consummate journeyman, a consummate third stringer, and this is what you're doing for your Super Bowl contending team. I don't know.
you
That
know
was just
what?
rough.
I'll say this.
That was rough, man.
If the 49ers would have had Chad Henne,
Ooh,
the backup for Mahomes,
yeah,
they could win that game.
yeah.
They could have
I
won
mean,
that game.
at least it would have been.
It would have been a game.
It would have been palatable.
Actually, it was a game. And that's crazy. It was a game
Yeah,
despite them
yeah,
not throwing the ball.
yeah, because they kept getting stops. The defense kept, doing their best to hold down the fort, but there's only so much you can do, man. I think at some point they just got deflated, man. Like there really wasn't anything. They're just looking around like, bro, I'm out here running 4.4 speed all over this goddamn field, and all for it to come on offense, and we're just going straight to punt team. Oh hell no! I'd rather just get ready for the fucking off season. You know what I'm saying? Like, get ready for this contract that I want to get because I just fucking sold my soul.
Basically.
So yeah, that shit was rough, man. Okay, so we got through that one. Our next question. Okay. This is a topic that I've been seeing going, across a number of different pundits, on a number of different platforms, with regards to, obviously the Chiefs, have shown an exorbitant amount of success throughout the course of this run that they've been on. I believe that they've made it to 5 straight AFC championships. They've made it to 4 and NFL Super Bowls, and have won 2 along the way. Right. So my question for the night, one of my questions for the night is: do you think the Chiefs should be considered a dynasty at this point?
No.
Okay. Why do you say no?
I think to at least start the dynasty talks, you have to you got to win more.
Okay.
The Tom Brady loss, that was your chance at dynasty. In the
Mhm.
NFL, much like the NBA, but a little bit different because the way the contracts are structured, the window is smaller, right? So in
Yes.
the NFL, if you pull off a repeat, that's already like at you dynasty level. Okay, and then if you don't go back the next year, but you manage to win one again in that fourth year, yeah, that's bona fide dynasty. Like that's Tom Brady-esque right there. But for them to get there and lose, like that was their chance. Now they're still they still have dynastic qualities to them because they have the core, Mahomes, and Andy Reid. And Kelsey add him in there, and then they shown that they didn't need a Tyreek Hill to win again. So those are all great qualities. But no, you can't win, lose, and then when they lost poorly. It wasn't a good showing.
Okay.
To going back and winning, and again, This wasn't a great victory because it was the margin was there. It was like what 3 point, but I mean, I projected that. I predicted that 3 points. But if they would have blown them out, then all right. Now maybe we can start saying, okay, a little bit more. It's possibly a dynasty, but no, at this point, no, it's not a dynasty. No.
I don't know. I think I'll have to push back on that because when the Patriots had because I think the Patriots went through 2 dynasties, right? They had the first one when they had the three-peat, right? The first initial three-peat, and no, sorry, not the first. When they had their three-peat, but even then in those games,
I don't remember them three-peating, man.
Was it not a three-peat?
Nah, I don't think
the one when they beat Oakland. Who else they beat? Well, if it wasn't a three-peat, didn't they win three in a short amount of time?
Yeah, it was like 3 and 4 years or something like that.
Okay,
But they didn't
that's
three-peat because
okay.
like that would be that's unheard of in the
Yeah,
NFL.
that's pretty tough. Okay, so even still, right? They won three in a short time frame. Even then, those games were. I mean, Adam Vinatieri, I mean, was I believe one of the MVPs for that during that stretch, right? So they had a lot of close calls during the course of their run, their first initial run of success, and then it took them 14 years, I think 12 to 14 years before
Okay,
they
hold
even got
on.
back to the
Sorry
big
to
game.
interrupt you.
Yeah,
Their first Super Bowl was against the Rams. That's when I'll never forget that Super Bowl against the
yeah,
greatest show on turf. Marshall Ford, Kurt Warner, Isaac Holt, Torrey Bruce, Asakeem. That offense was electric.
yeah. That was a
Up
close
against
game, right?
an unknown Tom Brady, who Drew Bledsoe was the starting quarterback. And he had gotten hurt, and he had did this. Drew Bledsoe did the same thing, and I think it was like Kansas City, like a few years later, or before, or maybe it was in Dallas, where he got hurt, and then another quarterback came, and then they never looked back. But anyway,
Mhm.
Tom Brady, he ultimately won that very close game. Adam Vinatieri, as we all know, kicked the game winner. The next year,
They had Oakland,
um,
right?
no. That's when John Gruden won. John Gruden won the Super
Ah,
Bowl the
yes,
next year.
yes. Tampa,
Um,
Tampa.
Yep, he took that Tony Dungy Tampa team because Tony Dungy had just left to go to Indianapolis, and
Hmm.
he won with Derek, forget his name, and
I
Warren
know what you're
Sapp,
talking about.
and I think
Yeah,
Brad Johnson might have been the
there is
quarterback.
it. Derek Brooks.
Derek Brooks, yep, number 55.
Yep.
And so then the next year, New England went back and they beat I would say a weak North Carolina Panthers team that had Steven Davis. I think Jake Delhomme was the quarterback. So again,
Yes.
and then they repeated after that. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah. So New England, Tampa, New England. They repeated after that.
Right, and
So
beat the
they
Raiders.
so they won 3 and 4 years. Like I said, that's a dynasty.
Okay,
Especially
but I mean,
because you have to have a repeat if you're going to win 3 and 4 years. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you have to have it.
I'm just thinking because I mean one of your points too was just I was going more so towards your point about how the I guess the like how competitive I guess the games were, right? Because you said that the Chiefs games um were relatively close in their wins. But I could say the same thing for the Patriots in their wins. I mean, a lot of them came down to the wire.
Yeah, but
I mean,
okay.
so
So the Chiefs, they went,
mm-hmm.
they lost.
Yep.
No, they went, then they went back. So they won,
Yeah.
then they went back and they lost, and they
Yes.
didn't
Correct.
make it, and then they just won. That's 2 and 4 years. So
Mm-hmm.
I again, I set the bench at. If you want to start the dynasty talks, you have to
Okay.
repeat. That's one. You could repeat automatically. That's now for me. We're looking at a
Mm-hmm.
dynasty
Yeah.
because that's hard to do in the NFL.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. So if you don't repeat, and again, like the only way to kind of get this is you really have to repeat is 3 and 4 years. Because
Yeah.
if they win 3 and 5, if they win 3 and 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
because again because the ties of the NFL changes so often, it's like all right, well,
I don't know.
is it a dynasty still? Because I have to look at like for instance, Andy Reid. Because now we're gonna compare Bill Belichick to Andy Reid. I'm a defensive guy. I already said it. I'm a defensive guy. Defense wins championships. The most winningest coach in all of NFL is a defensive-minded guru, Bill Belichick. Right? Andy Reid. I've seen Andy Reid come up short so many times. Andy Reid lost a Super Bowl to Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So do I think that Andy Reid himself has the dynamic qualities to, like, because if it's going to be him and Patrick Mahomes, do I think that you could kind of just like move pieces around? Now this year was great for them in that regard because without Tyreek Hill, it's like, oh my god, what are we going to do?
Exactly.
Hey, this game was basically a pick 'em. I called it by 3. I don't know what Vegas had it by, but I said it was a 3-point game. That's a pick 'em. So to be dynastic, nah, you can't be like that.
Yeah, I mean, I get your viewpoint. I mean, I disagree just because I mean your point about I think you made a great point about the fact that in the NFL versus the NBA, I mean, this is why you can't compare both of those leagues, because of the NBA, because of the guarantee contracts, because of the longevity of being able to, hold these roster spots. You're able to, keep your talent for a lot longer, right?
Mhm.
Keep a lot of your main pieces for a lot longer, which is where you can get the three peats from the Bulls. You can get the three peats from the Lakers. You can get
Yep.
the successful a lot. You can get a lot more of those successful runs that you see in the contemporary NBA history. So so with that being said, I just think I would give I guess I would look at it from a different perspective and say that I give kudos to the organization of the Kansas City Chiefs for being able to withhold stability, because we know that when that quarterback gets that contract,
Oh yeah.
it's very rare for them to get back to the big game, right? So
The thing about his contract too that doesn't get spoken about a lot. He didn't
mhm.
get the max. He got a
No,
huge
no,
contract,
it was relatively friendly.
but because he signed it over a 10-year deal, I think it was, or
Yes,
something like that. Because he
yeah,
did it like that, it allowed the team to have more money.
right.
Now that's going to lead us into our next topic about quarterbacks and free agencies,
Hmm.
and basically another conversation on can a team win if a quarterback signs that big blockbuster deal.
Mm.
And to be quite honest with you, unless a quarterback signs a huge deal as a free agent
Hmm.
going to an already young talent filled team,
Yeah.
no, it can't be done. Because if he's already on a team that's doing well and you give him that money, that
Hmm.
means that someone on that team is not coming back.
Yes. Yeah, no, but I just think that makes even more special, what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing, because I think Vegas has them as the favorites for next year as well. Um, barring obviously what happens over the offseason, but I think they're still going to be. I mean, they didn't spend a lot on the receiving core. I think that MBS, I'll just say MBS because I always get his name wrong. I think he's barely on a 2-year deal.
Yeah,
Schuster's on a 1 year. Tony is on a 1 year.
yeah.
Obviously you're going to keep Travis Kelsey.
No, yeah.
Uh, so it's just I think that makes what they're doing over there. In I don't know if it's Missouri or Kansas,
Kansas.
because I know they're on the line. But I think it just makes it even that more special what's going on in Kansas City. So yeah, so I think that was a good I think that was a good question. But yes, as my co-host mentioned, a topic that we definitely want to speak on is there's going to be a huge monumental shift in the AFC West. Is it the AFC West?
Yes.
AFC West. Derek Carr from the Oakland Raiders, as we know, he had a tumultuous time throughout the course of his tenure on the Oakland Raiders. He has officially, as of this week, been released. I just want to pull up something that I thought was an interesting tidbit, an interesting poll that was taken by I think it's Bleacher Report, the Gridiron section. I don't know if you guys can see this,
Well, New
where
Orleans definitely needs a freaking quarterback. So, yeah.
yep, where they're breaking out. Where do they think Carr will be landing as of next year? We got 47%. 47% with the Saints. We got 21. Well, we'll say 22% with the Jets, 22% with the Colts, and 9.3% with the others. Okay. So before we dive into that, Aaron, I think you had a list of some of the quarterbacks that will be free agents as of next year.
Yep.
Sorry, as of next. Yeah, go ahead.
It's off season coming. Yep. I'm pull it up. But also before I do that, I just want to talk about the Saints. They desperately need a quarterback. That
Mm-hmm.
might truly be where he goes because they're kind of desperate to get back to relevancy, especially after losing Drew Sean Payne, and he's not going back there. He's something
Mm-hmm.
because Jameis Winston to Taysom Hill is not working. The
Yeah,
Jets,
it's not
I'm
gonna
not a
be.
Jets fan. I'm a Giants fan, but I'm a native New Yorker, so I always pull for New York teams unless they're going against my team. So the Jets, I do not want to see Derek Carr in New York for the Jets or for the Giants. or New York at all. To be honest with you, I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think he's definitely NFL starting quarterback material. But he's not what the Jets need. And again, if he's going to come, he's going to come with a price tag. And if the Jets do that, they got something going. They were a bubble team to make the playoffs with a new head coach. And they had some inconsistency at quarterback play. Their defense was pretty much stout and consistent. So again, if they can solidify with like a journeyman, not somebody that's still trying to like be that guy, because Derek Carr, he still thinks he's in that conversation, in that room. And we see what happens time and time again with these players. They get overpaid, and then they don't produce. I.e., Dak Prescott. You can give him $40 million a year, but you're going to get bounced out the first round. Or the second round. Either way, you're going home. You're going home with a frown. So
it's an accident waiting to happen from Stephen A. Smith.
Exactly. Anything that can go wrong, will go wrong. So again, nothing against Derek Carr. I'm sure he'll find a job. I'm not saying that I want to see him out of the league. He definitely has a talented arm, but he's too much of a gunslinger that does not look. You got Devontae Adams on your team, and you guys can't connect more. Now, don't get me wrong. Devontae was able to put up some numbers, surprisingly, but again, come on. Much was made about that situation, and we didn't see a lot out of it. And again, to his credit, I'll give Derek Carr this. He's had a lot of ish go on playing for the damn Raiders. He had Henry Ruggs, who should still be there. That dude was a weapon. He did some real dumb stuff off the field. Now he's gone. You had John Gruden get fired, but for saying something that somebody had big lips. If the truth's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck? I have no. Come on. So you lose the great coach, you lose Ruggs, you got all this instability going around you. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a good thing for Derek Carr to get out of there. Again, I just don't want to see him come to New York. But let me pull up this list. So a list of quarterbacks that are free agents going into this offseason. We have number one, Baker Mayfield. We have Sam Darnold. We have Jimmy G String. Teddy Bridgewater and Daniel Jones. That's the top five. I'm gonna stop there and open it up for you to say something about those five if you have.
Yeah, no, I think that I think Jimmy G. I think that he's gonna. I think Jimmy G has shown that he can play in big markets. I think that he is one of those guys that he's not necessarily going to move the needle. He's not going to wow you with his stats, right? But I think the name of the game to be a successful quarterback in the NFL is being able to throw those intermediate passes, right? And I think that with somebody like Carr, where he continually struggles, right, because every once in a while he'll wow you with his down the field acumen. He's not able to hit in that sort of that 15 to 20 yard area, right, where you need to make your money. And this is something that Devontae Adams was brought to be able to be a specialist on. Toe tap Mr. Galore. This is, he is a savant when it comes to his route running capability. So, for him not to be able to connect on more occasion, even jarring, as my co-host mentioned, the fact that Devontae Adams still had an all-pro type season, it kind of really just speaks more so to Devontae Adams' talent more so than anything else. So I don't know. I think that I think the list that you gave, Daniel Jones, I think Daniel Jones will end up getting another run back with the Giants. Because again, like I think we talked about before we came on air, it's kind of like it's slim pickings, right? Because you don't want to degress because you would thought that team would have been looking to tank, but in all actuality, they have a lot of weapons. I was saying that the number 18,
Galladay?
No. Number 18. He was the
young boy.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah, I forget his name.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's shown a lot of promise, but a lot of drops though. These guys.
Yeah, but he was a walk on. I mean, he was a walk on. He was a practice squad player.
Yeah.
Right. So being asked of a lot for a practice squad player. So I definitely give him kudos on that end. But yeah, no, I agree. He definitely had some growing pains as far as route running succinctness. But for the most part, I had him on fantasy, so that's something we should have had was a fantasy football sort of vlog for us. But hey, look, we get it live. All right. So I think he was definitely somebody that helped me get through and be able to be successful in my fantasy football run. Just because he was really consistent down the stretch and helped catapult them when Daniel Jones needed a
Yeah,
timely
actually,
catch.
me and you, we played in a championship.
Yes, we did. We had a really down the
Yeah,
stretch type
Tua
game.
Tagovailoa. Yeah, and I've been saying
Yeah.
it. Yo, we know what
Yeah.
we should do more sports talk. Not a lot more. I don't want to change the dynamic of the what we do.
Sure.
That's why again, y'all. Again, we have a network that we're growing. I would love to offer more sports takes. I just don't want to be the one to have to always do it. Nor do I want my co-host to be the one to have to always do it. If you have a passion for discussing sports, whether it's NBA, NFL, MLB, come on. We can train you if you've never done this before. We can get you set up with the cameras and the lights and all that stuff. Walk you through the whole thing. We'll bring you on, put you as part of the team. You get to start out with our base audience as well. Okay, because I would love to have a Truth Media sports network.
Yep.
It's coming one way or another. It's coming.
Oh yeah.
But you guys can, hey, don't be the person that was right there listening the whole damn time and then watch the shit take off and you still there and you didn't even buy the damn ticket yet. Don't be that person, y'all. So anyway, back to the video. I didn't mean to cut you off, Mike, but I do want to get back to the top 5 because I called out the top 5, but we have to keep in mind what teams need quarterbacks. Now, obviously, if we look at the 3 here, they need quarterbacks. Yep. But the Raiders just released their quarterback. So let's add that 4th team. Now, just out of those 4 teams and these 5 quarterbacks, do you see any of these 5 quarterbacks, again, as Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Jimmy G, Teddy Bridgewater, Daniel Jones, go into any of those 4 teams?
Yeah, I see Jimmy G going to either the Raiders or the Jets.
I can see Jimmy G in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I can see Jimmy G in New York. The thing, again, is as a New York person, I don't want to overpay for a quarterback, especially not one that's unless they're going to be like star-studded or like just sell out. Where it's like, hey, I want to go watch him play. Like when Brett Favre came to New York, they went 9-7 that year. It was a rough season, but Brett Favre. Anyone knows me? Michael Vick is my favorite quarterback because Michael Vick just. His career at my age, it just aligned where it was just that's my dude. Yeah, that was my dude, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I had the braids like him. I had the jersey, everything. You know what I'm saying? I used to get the armbands and everything just to match how he had when he played, bro. Oh
yeah,
my God.
Mom thought you were a hoodlum and everything as a result, man. So
I was a hoodlum. I was from the streets of Brooklyn.
Wow.
She wasn't wrong. But I also even I know how to throw the ball lefty because of Mike Vick. You know what I'm saying? I literally was. Anyway, so I digress. But outside of Mike Vick, Brett Favre, one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. The way that man throws a football is something to behold. And by him going to New York, even though it wasn't the greatest season, I have some of my greatest live action football games watching Brett Favre play. I'm so happy that he came to New York and I was able to see him play.
No, I think that
Jimmy G's not that guy. I say a lot to say this. Jimmy G's not that guy. If Jimmy G comes to New York, I'm not going because I want to see Jimmy G throw a football.
Yeah, but you know what? I think I don't know. Do you think they'd really bring out the Brinks truck for Jimmy G though? Especially with the way that he's got.
Look, man, the market is what the market is. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy G's been in the league how many years now? He's been to a Super Bowl. He's going to get money. He's getting money.
It's not to say that he won't get money, but do you think they're going to be ringing it out the way that they would? Because you still have to the stats do still have to be there. I know he's gotten to the Super Bowl, but against his contemporaries, I don't know if the stats will.
Yeah, but you know how it is. It's like the NBA. Like at the end of the day, they have money that they have to spend because of the way that the salary caps works. They have to spend the money. And there's a minimum that he can get, and even the minimum that he can get for his tenure and what he's accomplished in the league will be too much, in my opinion, for the Jets to spend.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'm curious what the market is looking like for Jimmy G. Whether it's in that high 15, 16, 17, 18 mil range, or whether it's in that low 20
20s.
mil range. Yeah, I'm curious what the outlook is looking for.
Hey, Deshaun Watson came back and got the highest contract ever.
Lord,
You know what I'm saying? So again,
Lord
nothing's
of
on the
mercy.
table here. Nothing's on the table.
Yeah, no, Lord of mercy. I mean, they'll pay you with what's the saying? You'll
Market value.
Yeah, they'll pay what you're willing to take, or
Oh
something like
yeah.
that. So or no, you'll take what they're willing to pay. You know what I'm saying? So if they're willing to pay you upwards of 22, 23 million dollars, then by all means, bring it on in. Okay, so yeah, guys. I mean, let us know in the comments below what you guys think about some of these jarring topics that we brought to the table in this week's episode. What did you think about the Super Bowl? Did you guys enjoy it? What did you think about the call, the controversial call? Do you think it was a hold? Do you think it was something that warranted potentially altering the course of the latter part of that game? And then also, lastly, Derek Carr. And as long as some of the other free agent quarterbacks, there are a number of playoff teams that are currently vying to be able to make that next leap in 2023. Where do you think some of these guys are going to land? Do you think he lands on the Saints? Or do you think he lands on some of these other teams just so that way he can get a little closer to some revenge and play against the Raiders, on a week-by-week basis? Yeah, so guys, thank you for this week's episode. We thank you guys for all of you who have joined, and we look forward to speaking to y'all very soon. I think we're going to try to get out another episode sometime this week. Let us know in the comments as well, or when you guys go check out our the Truth Media page on Instagram. You guys can send us messages of topics that you guys want to see us talk on. I know in my personal page, I get a lot of guys that send me videos on ratchet or crazy shit that they see happening on the on the airwaves. So if you guys have something that you think that you would want to see us give our perspective on, please don't hesitate to send it on over. All right, Aaron, anything before we end the stream?
Nah, I obviously like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And again, if you are that person that has aspirations to be in front of a camera and giving your 2 cents on sports talks or anything else, it could be music. We are in the process of expanding this. 2023 is a big year for the Truth Media podcast and the Truth Media Network as a whole. Okay, you're going to see a lot of changes. I'm sure most of you have already seen some changes. You can tell just by the regularity that we're getting these videos live to you every Wednesday. All right, you can set your calendar to it. So again, with that being the case, we're putting in all this effort. We are reinvesting. Okay, it's a term that if you're not familiar with, you should be familiar with. We are reinvesting in this project. So with that being said, there are going to be people that we're going to take on this journey with us, and I would love to hear from the real people out there. Again, nothing against the people that we're going to meet later on in life, but I want to meet the real people that have a true passion for whatever it is that you're going to approach us with, whether it's fashion, whether it's politics, whether it's stand-up comedians, whatever the case may be, whether it's reading books. You love books and you want to do a book channel and book reviews. Knock yourself out. That's all great. I want people that have a true passion for it, and that when the money isn't involved. We'll get to the point where the money will be involved, but if someone's highly passionate about something, minus the money, like Mike and I are, Q-Fusion and I, we've been doing this for almost 3 years. 3 years. So, that's passion. That's passion. That's how you know it's the truth that we're speaking. So again, we want people like that. It's called The Truth Media Network, The Truth Media Podcast for a reason. We want true speakers and people that are also going to speak power to truth. And that's it for me.
All right, guys. So check us in. We go live every Wednesday at 8. Well, lately it's been 8:30, 8:30ish. So follow us along. We do it live, guys. So we do have a lot of setting up that we have to do here, making sure that the topic is on par and worthy of your attention. So do bear with us. I know some of y'all have gotten on us for being a little late to the live broadcast, but hey, like I said, we do it live, guys. So with that being said, I enjoyed this episode and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Peace.
Shadow on the track. Let's get it. I'm a rock star type nigga, fucks bad bitches. See me in the drive.